everyone, it's Taylor here today, and I am super excited to share with you a really simple way to create an interactive element. You see, when I open this gatefold, the sentiment is revealed on the inside of that window. It's really fun and easy to create, and we have all of the different supplies you need to make this happen. I'll be sharing some tips and tricks along the way so that you can mass produce the set of 4 cards that I've shown here. The supplies we'll be using today include the Hey Crafty Friends stamp set with the large sentiment and then the smaller sentiments designed to fit right inside that window. Then we're also debuting our Clearly Crafty collection with this stamp set called Craftiness is Happiness. Has lots of fun small images and things that are definitely pertinent for us crafters. Then we have 2 die sets that will make creating these cards really easy. First, we have our Better Half cutting plates that are designed to fit perfectly on that gatefold. And then we have our Gatefold Reveal dies that were designed and sized to create that interactive element on the inside. I've started by cutting a rainbow of colors sized to fit that gatefold die. So I'm going to run each of those through my die cut machine, and when they come through, I'm going to poke out the pieces that fall out of the die, and I'm putting those in little cups just to keep the colors separate for me. I'm going to repeat that with each of the colors of the rainbow until I have all of my pieces separated into the little jars, and then I will set those aside until later on in the process. Now I have 4 card bases, and I'm going to create that gatefold by scoring where you see that small dot on the score pal. That is the perfect size that you need to score, and then flip and score again in order to create that gatefold. You can see how that folds together, and then you'll repeat that again 4 times to create those 4 different card bases. I have Easy Cut adhesive next. I love to use this stuff when I want to piece back card designs together. I often use them with cutting plates when I want to make a rainbow of colors. It just makes the adhering process so much easier. So I am cutting those strips down to fit exactly behind my gatefold die cuts. I'm going to end up needing a total of 8 of them. So I've used several sheets here and just trimming down to fit exactly behind. So you'll need to make a measurement on that gatefold die and then cut those exactly to fit over the top. Then you can place those adhesive pieces down on the front panels of the gatefold card base. And once you do that for all of the cards, you peel back that backing paper and place your die cut over the top. You can see then in the open spaces, your adhesive is still there, allowing you to then easily place and adhere all of those pieces in a rainbow order. I found this easiest just to pick up and adhere into the spaces with my fingers. You could use a tweezer or a tool, some kind of pick and place tool, but I found it easiest just to use my fingers to do that. I do often need a little poker tool to help me pick that backing paper off, but really this process is pretty easy and fast as long as you keep your pieces separated, and it makes it go by quickly with that adhesive behind. Now that we have the front of our card panels finished, we can start creating the interactive element on the inside. You can see here I've cut several different colors using that Gatefold Reveal die. The die is all set up for you, so there's no guessing where you need to put your square or what size you need to use. You just cut that piece out and you'll have just what you need. I will be using the Craftiness is Happiness stamp set and arranging those stamps down toward the bottom just to create a little bit of something on the inside of the project. I'm using the various paintbrushes and pencils and scribbles and splatters to create a little scene at the bottom, and then I'm going to stamp that tone on tone. So I'm using Granny Smith ink onto Granny Smith cardstock. I'll do the same here after washing my stamp, of course, with my Stamper Spritz. Then I will be using the Candy Corn ink on Candy Corn cardstock. And here we have Cookie Monster cardstock with Cookie Monster ink. And last we'll finish up with Cherry Pop cardstock and Cherry Pop ink. So after those have been created, we can adhere them to the inside of our card. I have all of those pieces die cut. What I'm going to start with is a piece of white cardstock because I would like to stamp my sentiment on white. However, my card base is that dark gray color. So I've just created a piece of cardstock sized to fit behind that opening. And now I'm adding 1/16 inch foam tape to the back of that piece, just to give it a little bit of lift so those flags have a little bit of space to move within that opening. You can see there's a score line on those flags, so you can just fold on that score line, give it a little extra crease with your bone folder, and then add 1/8 inch sticky tape to those flaps. I did find sticky tape to be the easiest and best thing to allow that element to stick even better than a liquid glue or a runner would. Here you can see that I have lined up the edge of that die with the crease, and when you fold your flap over, it adheres to exactly the right spot on your project so that when you open each side, that sentiment is revealed there in the center. I'm going to repeat that process for all 4 of my card bases, adding again that foam tape, making sure I don't add foam tape too close to the opening because I do need a space for my flags to fit into. So just make sure you don't put your adhesive too close to that open frame. And again, I've added sticky tape to the back, and now you can see those flaps just moving as long as you are lining that up perfectly with the creased edge, closing your flap to adhere, and you will find this very easy and quick to create. And they should just open and close and move just perfectly for you. So now that I have the 4 elements on the inside created, we're going to move back to the front of the card and stamp our Hey Crafty Friend. I'm going to set that up in my MISTI, and I'm going to show you how I do that when I'm mass producing. I do this often where I stamp onto my grid line paper, and then I use a negative of the die cut to tape into place over my sentiment, making sure that when I drop those die cut circles in that opening, I am going to get a perfectly centered sentiment each time. It makes it quick and easy, especially when you're doing multiples. Now after that's finished, we'll just glue those to the same color that I used on the card base. This is Poppy Seed cardstock. We're just gluing that layer behind, and then we will add a little bit of interest to that sentiment panel with those splatters from the Clear Craftiness is Happiness stamp set. I'll be adhering those then to the front half, the left side of my design, so that it gives you a little bit something to grab onto when you want to open that card. Just make sure you're adding your adhesive only to the left side of your circle so that you can still open the card fully. You don't want to glue that circle down all the way to your card base, just on one half. So after I have adhered those, we're going to move back to the inside and choose the sentiments that we want to fit. All of the sentiments in the Hey Crafty Friends stamp set are designed to fit inside of that opening. I found it easiest just to put these on a block, but if you're not as confident in your ability to line these up, you can certainly put those in a MISTI and get it perfect every single time. Just make sure if you're doing it with a block like this that you have your flaps all the way open to make sure you're giving yourself the most space to stamp that sentiment within. There are several different ones. My personal favorite is, Hey Crafty Friend, can you believe I actually mailed this? That is totally me. But there are so many great ones in this set, and I think these would make really fun cards to send to any of your crafty friends, whether they're near or far. I hope you learned some tips and tricks along the way for mass producing this really fun Gatefold Reveal card. You can find all of these products on the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com. And if you enjoyed today's video, I hope you'll subscribe to our YouTube channel.